So for today's demo, we're going to cover the items in the blue box here. We're going to create a purchase order and move it through to the invoicing stage. And Erin is going to play the part of the organization. So creating the purchase order and sending it to me. I will play the role of the vendor. So you'll see us swap back and forth between screens. You'll see my screen has a lot more limited data because I'm set up as that external user and I only can see the data which is applicable to my specific vendor account. So we'll go ahead and start with Erin sharing her screen as the purchasing agent.
Fabulous. Thanks, Jordan. So I am going to create a purchase order for Jordan Industries, LLC, as part of my role at Lugnut Candies. So I'm going to go into the purchase order preparation workspace, and I'm going to create a new purchase order. This is for Jordan Industries, and the vendor contact that we have provisioned through the vendor collaboration module is this Jordan contact here. The vendor collaboration module is contact specific. So I'm going to get our purchase order all set up and ready to go. And I'm going to add an item here. We're going to buy a speaker driver for Lugnut Candies. We'll actually let's buy 10 of them. You can see the unit price fills in. There's other sort of information on the PO that we probably would want to complete, but for the purposes of today, I'm going to keep it at this. And then here under the purchase and action pane under vendor collaboration, you can see that because Jordan Industries is enabled for vendor collaboration, this is going to let me send it for confirmation. But just before I do that, I'm actually going to attach a document here. So just to show this functionality, so you could attach like a quote. You could attach kind of any sort of document to the PO at this point. I'm going to set the restriction to external so that Jordan Industries can view this as someone that's external to my company. And I'm going to add that there. And now I'm going to send it for confirmation. And when you use the vendor collaboration portal, it opens up a little bit of a different status that you may not have seen in purchase orders before. So it changes the status now that I've sent it for confirmation. It is in external review. So we're waiting on Jordan Industries to review it. And you can also see here in the purchase order preparation module in external review of waiting vendor response. Here is my purchase order that I have just sent to Jordan, and you can see that it's currently unanswered. So we're waiting on Jordan to view it and to take action here. And when this is sent for confirmation, it can trigger a notification email to your vendor contact so that they get an email knowing with the knowledge and the link to this purchase order that is awaiting their review. Okay, now I'm going to pass it over to Jordan as the vendor, and she's going to work on the purchase order.
Yes. So you can see, like I mentioned before, when I log into D365 as an external vendor, I have very limited options available to me. So I'm going to use the purchase order confirmation to view that PO that Erin just sent over my way. So you can see in this purchase orders for reviews, purchase order 905, that's the one that Erin just created. I'm going to go ahead and drill into it to see the details. I notice right away that this has notes and attachment toggle is set to yes. So I can view that here. Oops, nope, I can view that. here, sorry. The notes and attachment, I'll go on the line level down here. So from here, I can go ahead and open this attachment view, and we can see this is what Erin attached. I could download and view that if necessary. So there are a couple things I can do in this view as a vendor. I can update a document reference if necessary, and I could update mode of delivery, delivery terms up on the header. Those are the only editable fields for me. And then down in the lines, like I mentioned before, I could update the quantity that I have available. And I could also split it into 2 different deliveries by suggesting changes to this purchase order if there were any changes that I had in mind. If I use that option, it would go to Erin for approval to accept those changes. For purposes of our demo, I'm going to go ahead and just accept the purchase order as is by clicking the accept button up here. I'll put in a note for her. Erin will be able to see these notes. Also take note at the bottom here, we can reference your terms and conditions if you'd like. This text down here is fully customizable. So once I click OK, the status on this purchase order will update on Erin's side. And then on my end, the purchase order is now awaiting customer action. So you can see I've accepted. And so now it's up to Erin as the organization to confirm this PO. So we'll switch back over to Erin's screen.
Great. Okay, so I'm back here still in the purchase order preparation workspace. And before that, PO was here awaiting vendor response, but you can see now that Jordan's taken the action to accept it, it has moved into this new tab in external review requiring action. So it's now awaiting my action. So you can see the vendor has accepted this purchase order. And I can click here to review Jordan's response. So if there were changes or other notes, you can see here, here's where Jordan accepted, and I can review this. And then just even from here, I can click confirm. So you can also set parameters within F&O so that these purchase orders can be auto-confirmed. We had them manually confirmed for our demo today, but that is a possibility. Now that I've confirmed it, it is here in my confirmed and open purchase orders tile. And you can see here is the PO from Jordan Industries. So once I've confirmed it, just kind of in real time, we're going to work right through to post the product receipt. But obviously, as a company, I'd await receipt of the items. And then once they've been received, I will post the product receipt. So now I'll be able to match this product receipt once I receive the invoice from Jordan Industries. So I'll pass it back to Jordan, who will walk through the invoicing process in the vendor collaboration module.
Okay, so back in my view of F&O, instead of the PO confirmation workspace now, we're going to work out of the invoicing workspace. But before I go in there, I just want to show you again, we're watching things move through these different statuses. So now that Erin has confirmed the PO, I can see on my end that the PO shows in the open and confirmed POs. So it's no longer awaiting customer action because Erin has confirmed it. I can see the date and the time which she confirmed it. So back on my home screen, this time I'm ready to send the invoice over to Erin. So I'm going to go in here to the invoicing workspaces, and I'll want to select the new option to create a new invoice. So in this drop down here, one thing that's important to notice is I only see purchase orders that are for my vendor. So what you might typically be used to if you were a member of the organization, like Erin, when you click the purchase order dropdown, you would see all purchase orders. But because of the specific security that's given to me as an external vendor, I'm limited to only the data applicable to my account. So we've got a couple POs in here. The one that we're using in this demo is 905. So I'm going to select that one to invoice and put in an invoice number and date. And then a invoice description if you want. And click create invoice. This form looks like the standard F&O invoicing form for anybody who's familiar with that view in F&O. Again, there are limited fields which I can edit as a vendor, and most of the fields here are either grayed out if they're just display only, or I can have a drop down for anything that I can edit. I don't have any remittance locations set up on my contact right now, but that is something that's available in the collaboration portal, is that I can specify multiple remittance locations if I have multiple, and then I'm allowed to set which one I want this invoice to be remitted to. So I already entered the number, the invoice, and the date. So let's look down at the lines now. Kind of defaults in that speaker that we purchased. For sake of this demo, I'm going to invoice for the full quantity. You can see this is editable. I could change this and do a partial invoice, but for today, I'm going to go ahead and invoice the full quantity. And again, just like Erin has the ability to add attachments and notes, I can do the same thing. So for this example, I'm going to attach a copy of an invoice. So just grab a sample file here. File is uploaded as sample. I don't have the option to change the restriction. If you remember, Erin changed hers to external. I don't have to do that as an external vendor. It will show up automatically on Erin's side. And I'll just put a little note in here for her to see that. And now when I go back to my invoice form, can see this has notes and attachments is set to yes, indicating that I've attached something. Erin will see that on her end as well, so that she knows that I've got something available to her. So once I'm satisfied with the data that's been entered, the next step is for me to submit this to workflow to let Erin know that I've got an invoice available on this purchase order. And so now you can see the workflow status on my end shows in review. And if I go back to my invoicing workspace, I can see my invoice is now submitted, not approved. It's showing unposted because Erin has to take action to approve and then post this invoice before it shows posted on my end. So we will send it back to Erin to complete our demo.
Lovely. Okay, so I've been working so far in the purchase order preparation workspace, but now I'm going to switch over to the vendor invoice entry workspace. And here I can view pending vendor invoices that are awaiting my approval, review, and posting. So here you can see this one is in the workflow. This is the one that Jordan has just submitted to the workflow that is pending. So I'm going to open that one and take a look at it. So you can see here is the invoice that she's just sent. Let's drill into it. And we can see here is that attachment at the top that she has added to the invoice. So we could click on that link. We can see the notes that the invoice is attached. We can preview it, open it, print it, download it. But here you can see that she's put that attachment right into F&O through the vendor collaboration module, which is pretty slick. So now we can see, just going to refresh and see if that workflow's had a chance to work. It's not yet been matched. It's in the workflow. It's now submitted and ready for me to approve, reject, or I can also request changes and make some other actions here. For today's demo, I'm just going to go ahead and approve it. And it is ready to go. So now that it is approved on my end of things, it has not yet been matched or posted. So I'm going to match the invoice to the product receipt that I posted earlier. So here is that product receipt for the 10 speaker drivers that we purchased on this purchase order. I'm going to go ahead and match it to that product receipt. And it has now passed match status. So I'm going to refresh, and now I'm going to post this invoice. And that's basically the process from purchase order, kind of company back to vendor, back to company, back to vendor. So the kind of PO process and the invoicing process all within D365 through the vendor collaboration module.